They say you should never get too attached to material things. But when someone takes a blade to the very dream you bled years for, it doesn't just scrape paint, it cuts into your soul. My $100,000 Lotus Emira wasn't just a car. It was the proof that every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every skipped vacation meant something. And when my HOA neighbor decided to destroy it, I promised myself one thing: she would regret it for the rest of her life. I can still remember the first night I parked my Lotus Emira in the driveway. Matte silver finish glowing under the streetlights, exhaust purring like a lion waiting to strike. My buddy Jake jogged out, phone already recording, his grin stretching wider than mine. "Brew, you actually did it," he said, circling the car like it was a piece of fine art. That night felt like victory. 4 years of living like a monk, driving a wheezing Corolla, cutting every luxury just to stack away enough cash, and finally, the dream was real. But apparently, not everyone thought so. Enter Rita. Mid-50s, bleach blonde bob, oversized sunglasses she wore even after sunset, and an expression permanently stuck on disapproval. She wasn't even the HOA president, just a board member with too much time and too little purpose. She stood across the street that night, arms crossed, staring at my Emira like it was an open wound on the neighborhood. I gave her a polite nod. She turned and walked away. I should have known. Within days, her Prius circled my block like a shark, clipboard in hand, pretending to inspect sidewalks and trash bins, but her eyes always locked on my car. Then came the knock on my door. She stood there, clipboard clutched like a weapon. "Your car is loud. It lowers property values. It ruins the peaceful aesthetic. Replace it with something cleaner. A Tesla would be preferable." A Tesla. I nearly laughed. I'd read the bylaws front to back. Nothing banned sports cars, nothing about noise, nothing about aesthetics. I kept my revs respectful, never blocked anyone's driveway. I was the model neighbor. But Rita wasn't after rules. She was after control. Weeks passed. Each morning, the sound of my Lotus rolling out must have been nails on a chalkboard for her. Then one night, after an HOA meeting hosted at her house, my life tilted. I came home to find the words, "I warned you," sprayed across my rear window in dripping red paint. All 4 tires slashed, both mirrors ripped clean off. My heart sank, my hands shook, but fury overtook shock. I checked my Ring camera. There she was, hoodie pulled up, spray can in hand, slashing, smashing, vandalizing, and then, the cherry on top, she flipped off my camera before walking away. It wasn't HOA politics anymore. It was felony vandalism. I called my attorney Sam that very night. We sat hunched over the footage, pausing, zooming, catching every detail. Her posture, her smirk, the unmistakable Rita Baker. The numbers made me sick. $800 for new Pirelli Performance tires, $1,200 for mirrors, $6,500 for a repaint to repair the matte finish, $2,000 for a rental, over $11,500 in damages. Sam leaned back in his chair. California Penal Code 594, felony vandalism. She's cooked. But I wasn't just after justice in a courtroom. I wanted everyone to see who Rita really was. The next HOA meeting, I stood mid-session, plugged in my laptop, and hit play. Silence dropped like a hammer. There she was on the wall, Rita, creeping into my driveway, spray painting, slashing, flipping off the camera like she owned the block. "That's edited," she blurted, voice cracking. "This is harassment. I was protecting the community." Laughter rippled. A neighbor whispered, "Protecting us? She's insane." Sam, sitting in the back, raised his voice. "Under California law, this is felony vandalism. She'll answer for it in court." Rita's face drained white. 2 days later, police knocked on her door. She looked across the street as officers handed her the summons. Gone was the smug Blair. Now, it was fear. And honestly, that was my first win. Court came quick. Rita arrived, stiff smile plastered, as if pretending this was all a misunderstanding. But video evidence doesn't lie. Sam laid it all out. The footage, the estimates, her own HOA notes about me needing to get rid of my status symbol. The judge leaned forward, his voice cut like steel. Using your HOA position as a pretext to commit felony vandalism is unlawful. It's also an abuse of community trust. Gavel dropped. Rita, guilty. She was ordered to pay $13,500, covering every dime of damage, the rental, and my legal fees, plus probation, plus community service, plus time in county jail. She had 30 days to pay or risk property seizure. 2 months later, her blinds stayed shut. Her Prius gathered dust. Then one morning, a moving truck rolled up. By sundown, Rita Baker was gone. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. I didn't throw a party. I didn't celebrate. I just slid behind the wheel of my Amira. New tires, paint gleaming, engine purring like the day I brought it home. As I drove one lap around the cul-de-sac, a few neighbors waved, some clapped, and I realized sometimes winning isn't about shouting. Sometimes it's about letting the truth and the law speak louder than you ever could.